Warning! This is on a whole new level of fucked up shit. So if you're younger than 18 or 21, where the hell you live, yeah, you're not gonna want to watch this. Growing Up Together by IndieTimmie, a story of love between a human and Asriel Dreemurr, Prince of the Monsters. Chapter 1. It's been about 10 years since the barrier was destroyed. You were 8 at the time. The whole experience frightened the adults in your town, but all you had on your mind was meeting new friends. You became great friends with Asriel Dreemurr, Prince of the Monsters, son of Toriel and Asriel Dreemurr, brother to Frisk. You ended up hanging out with Asriel and Frisk every day. You loved being with them and their parents. You spent so much time there, Toriel and Asgore began treating you like their own. The rest of the town started trusting the monsters as well. Okay, I don't know about you, but if my child is hanging out with fucking monsters, I'm going to be a little concerned. I don't care how nice they are. I don't want to sound racist, but I'm going to be really racist right now. Like hell, is my child hanging out with any goats? Fuck that. Deers at the max. You love hanging out with Frisk, but the one you had the most fun and the one you related to the most was Asriel, the little shy goat boy with a bit of anxiety. Of fucking course, everyone's got anxiety. You have anxiety yourself, am I not fucking surprised? But all that almost seemed non-existent when you were together. You couldn't be happier with his family. Asriel had become much happier and giggly since you came around. You spent so much time there. Toriel gave you your own room. You happily accepted it. As time went on, your bond with Frisk, and especially Asriel, grew stronger. You spent every day playing with and talking to Asriel. You couldn't have been happier. As time went on, you reached the age of 18. For the past week or so, Asriel had been very nervous around you, and you kind of felt the same, but obviously not nearly as much as him. One day you were dozing off on the couch after a long night of playing video games with Frisk and Asriel.
Hey.
You heard Frisk call your name. He was leaning over the couch, staring at you.
You know you have a bedroom, right?
He asked you, his face tired. You just nodded.
I know. I'll be going in a minute.
He raised an eyebrow and said,
Okay, but if I catch you here later, I'm pouring ice water on you.
He threatened and made his way to his room. You sighed and stood up, slowly making your way to your bedroom, when suddenly you heard something from Asriel's room. You walked closer to his door, silently, putting your ear to it. You could hear sniffling? Was he crying? You became worried, about to knock on his door, stopping yourself in your tracks.
Damn it!
You say, closing your eyes, seeing his smiling face. His smile always gave you comfort, always made you happy. You always tried to cheer him up when he was sad. Finally, you gained the strength, fighting back against your anxiety to make sure your best friend is okay. You knocked on his door softly, and you hear a gasp from inside.
Just a sec.
You hear from the other side.
Asriel, it's me. Are you okay?
You ask him, worry in your voice. After a few seconds, the door opens a little, and he looks at you. His eyes are red, bags under his eyes. It looks like he's been crying for a while.
Hi.
He tries to say, but you cut him off.
Asriel, are you okay? What's wrong?
You ask, even more worried than before. He just looks down, tears forming again as he backs away. You slowly step inside as he backs up to sit on the edge of his bed. You go and sit next to him.
Asriel, please, tell me, what's wrong?
You tell him with a soft and caring tone.
I couldn't sleep, and I started thinking about how long we've known each other, how close we've become as friends, and...
You smile a little at him and embrace him in a soft hug. For a moment he's surprised by this, but hugs back, tears forming again.
I know, Asriel.
You whisper in his ear softly. He just looks at you in shock. You know that he's had feelings for you, and you'd be lying if you said you didn't share the same feelings.
Is it that obvious?
He says, his voice hiccuping a bit. He stares into your eyes, but looks away.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have brought this up. I...
You cut him off.
Asriel, it's okay, really, it is.
You smile at him. You tell him softly, moving closer to him. His eyes widen a bit at your next move. You place your lips against his, locking him in a soft kiss. For a moment, he doesn't know how to react, but soon melts into the kiss, returning it. You hold each other tighter as the kiss slowly deepens. He leans back slowly. You follow as you're now on top of him, continuing into the loving kiss. His hands reach down, moving under your shirt. You can't help but blush more at the feeling. His hands, now slowly removing your shirt. Your lips separate just long enough for him to remove your shirt, and you immediately go back to the kiss. After a few more minutes of the passionate kiss, your lips separate again, as you're both panting a little now.
Asriel.
You say softly, holding yourself up above him, tears still streaming slowly down his face, but he is smiling now.
Thank you so much.
He says as you begin to wipe his tears away, and smiles softly back at him.
Asriel, I've wanted to do that for so long.
You tell him. Seeing his smile grow a little, you both giggle a little. Wait, hold on. Seeing his smile grow a little, you both giggle a little. You really couldn't have found another word other than a little to say twice? Really? He looks down and blushes deeply, covering his eyes.
Oh, no, did I really take off your shirt?
He groans, embarrassed by his action, but with a little bit of happiness in his voice. You just smile. This is the Asriel you know. You rub his cheek softly, then stroke his ears softly. There they go, doing it again. As you slowly reach your hand down, now reaching the bottom of his shirt. He places a paw on your hand, and you giggle a little. Giggle a little!
Hey.
You say, a bit of mischief in your voice.
Let me see. It's only fair.
You tell him as he blushes more and giggles a little. Will you fucking stop saying giggles a little? God damn! Removing his paw from your hand, you slowly start again, moving your hand under his shirt, slowly removing it. He shifts a little. Jesus Christ, I swear to fucking God, if they keep using a little, I'm going to have an aneurysm, or I'm probably going to start drinking again. Either way, it's going to be fun, making it easier for you to remove it. And you eye his chest and stomach slowly. With both hands, you begin softly rubbing up from his stomach to his chest and back down. You hear a soft sigh from Asriel. You know he likes it. Your hand ever so softly brushes against his nipple. He gasps softly. I can't say... He gasps. How the fuck do you say that word? He gasps. I can't do it. He gasps softly, covering his eyes again as a bright blush covers his face. You giggle at him as you trace tiny circles around it by now.
Hey!
He bleats softly before letting out an embarrassed moan. He always had an issue with bleating when he giggles. Stop saying giggles! And he's very self-conscious about it. But you've always thought it was adorable.
I've always, what the fuck? I've always thought those were adorable.
You tell him softly. He uncovers his eyes to look at you.
Really?
He whines a bit, feeling a bit more embarrassed. You smile at him, and you start running your hands up and down his chest again, feeling his heartbeat every time you pass it.
You don't know how much I've wanted this.
He tells you softly. You smile at him.
I think I do.
You whisper softly to him as he smiles at you. You lay your head down against his chest, enjoying every moment of this. You slowly lower your hand, reaching the waistband of his pajama pants.
Whoa!
He says, surprised. You retract your hand immediately.
Sorry.
You say, afraid you just ruined the moment.
No, it's okay.
He coos softly.
I just wasn't expecting it.
He smiles at you. You hesitantly move your hand back, reaching under the waistband of his PJ pants.
Are you sure this is alright?
You ask, wanting to make sure this is all okay. He just nods at you, his face becoming a bit more red. You slowly move your hand down, feeling his thigh. He tenses up a bit as you move your hand up slowly, feeling his scrotum.
What have we here?
You tease, lifting your head to look into his eyes as you gently cup his balls. They're the perfect size. What do you mean they're the perfect size? What is the perfect size balls? As you begin to softly play with them, you can hear soft ahs and quiet moans coming from Asriel. Out of pleasure or embarrassment, you're not sure, but they melt your heart all the same. After a few minutes, you reach your hand up, tenderly rubbing your fingers against his growing shaft. You wrap your fingers around it, and you feel it softly harden in your grip. He gasps softly, feeling your hand around it.
Please, be careful with it.
He says softly to you.
Don't worry, I know how fragile you are.
You tease him.
Hey!
Asriel objects, gently shoving you and giggling! As you softly start moving your hand up and down, tenderly stroking his manhood. Why the fuck do people say the word manhood? That just sounds really fucking stupid. Like his testicles, his penis is the perfect size. It feels about 6 inches or so in your hand. You rub your thumb over the opening. Oh, ouch. That sounds like really fucking sensitive. Which is already drooling with his pre-cum. Asriel's legs quiver a little as you sit up, slowly removing his pants with your other hand, exposing his manhood to the cool public air.
Oh my god.
Asriel says, tilting his head back on the pillow, his mouth hanging open a little. Your own member stiffens as you lean down, kissing his tip softly. Gay. He gasps and looks at you, feeling your lips against his tip.
Are you...
He starts to ask, but you cut him off by wrapping your lips around his head. You immediately start swirling your tongue around his sensitive muscle.
Oh my god.
He says, throwing his head back against his pillow, his cock leaking more pre-cum as you go even lower, sucking more. Your tongue continues to swirl and stroke at his shaft as you suck harder. Listening to Asriel moan as you try to make him feel good ink by the gorillas, his breath increases at a faster rate.
That's... so good.
You hear him say, you smile softly, looking up at him as you continue bobbing your head. He's covering his face with his pillow as to not be too loud. Moaning under the pillow, you softly hear him whisper, slowly rising in pitch. He moans and chirps under the pillow. You slowly pull your mouth off, running your tongue against the opening tenderly. This sets him off, his legs tensing up and kicking softly, the rest of his body tensing as you feel each shot of seed enter your mouth. Asriel lost in the feeling of orgasm as you swallow it all, some leaking down your chin and onto him. As his orgasm comes to a stop, he rests his body, panting heavily, recovering from the amazing experience you just gave him. You move your head up, removing his cock from your mouth, giving the tip a soft kiss before laying your head back on his chest.
Oh my god, do you always have such violent orgasms?
You ask him with a chuckle.
Shut up.
He says, softly whacking your head with his pillow. You hear him giggle! And you smile. You reach over, taking a tissue and cleaning off the excess cum that dripped on him, slowly getting up to throw the balled up tissue away. You look back at him, he gives you a soft kiss and immediately looks down at the tent in your pants. He giggles at you. Now it's your turn to be embarrassed as you cross your legs a little. He only laughs more at the sad attempt to hide your arousal.
Yeah,
You say, blushing deeply.
Let me see. Come on, it's only fair.
He replies in the same sing-song tone you used on him earlier. The night was just beginning, ... and so was their relationship. And that's the end of Chapter 1. Stay tuned for Chapter 2, where they have butt sex, or whatever the fuck it is a 18-year-old kid does with a goat that isn't in the middle of Iraq.